What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back on into the Man Cave. True story time. Today's story is about our neighborhood liquor store. The name of it was Sunrise Liquor, but we referred to it as Brownies. That might have been the actual name of it at some point, but if it was before my time. And the owner of this store, it was a black-owned store, and the owner of this store was Mr. McGee, or just plain Gee. He was a cool cat, so I thought, seemed smooth. One of them old niggas with that raspy voice. That'd be $9.99. One of them old talking ass niggas, and he would be trying to get at all the single women in the neighborhood. And one of the women that he used to be trying to get at was one of my partner's moms. She wanted absolutely nothing to do with him. But they ain't stopped him for trying to bribe her through her kids, giving her kids, they come to the store, get them whatever they wanted out the store. Like that was gonna work, and it didn't. But they ain't stopped my partner from using that to his advantage. If we didn't have no money or if he didn't feel like spending his money, went on to Brownies, and he got enough for me and him. But this particular day, I'm at the store by myself, and if I'm at this store by myself, it had to be a Sunday because the other store was closed in the neighborhood, and that was the one that was closest to my house. And I would, go there over going here. So I'm in there, and I come in, and Gee's in here arguing with someone I refer to as woman of the night, out of respect. And they going back and forth. They arguing like cats and dogs. Man, how people say they arguing like a married couple, but this ain't his wife. He has an actual wife. But they are in there arguing. And at some point in his argument, he tells her, "Bitch, you burned me." And her reply was, "Nigga, you got what you paid for." And I'm dumbfounded, have no clue what's going on, because at this time, about 9 or 10 years old. I'm taking it literally. She burnt him, and this nigga paid her to burn him. What in the fuck is going on here? They arguing so hard, going back so hard, that they don't realize that I'm in the store. And I done picked up a few things. And I done left here. I done got up out of here with the stuff. My Cool Ranch Doritos and Super Saco. And I wasn't even trying to do it. It was just, I was so confused, I walked out with the stuff. Wasn't mad that I did, like saved me a couple dollars. And if you're not familiar with a Super Saco was kind of like a Gatorade, you know what I'm saying? Type of drink, a sports drink. And people would mix it with gin. I'm too young to drink Super Saco and gin, but it didn't stop me from drinking a Saco and thinking I was cooler than everybody because I had a Super Saco that was virgin as hell because the shit had no gin in it. So I go home, and the first person I see when I get home is my oldest brother, Dink. And I tell Dink, "Yeah, Gee told woman of the night, bitch, you burned me." He falls out laughing. Like, what the fuck is so funny? So I tell him, and she said, "Nigga, you got what you paid for." And he laughing even harder. My brother about 6, 7 years older than me, so at this time he like 16, 17, I'm like 9 to 10. So I'm thinking it's something I understand when I get older. So he won't tell me what it means. He leaves. At this time, I go right in the backyard. Our pop's in the garage. So I go tell him, "Gee told woman of the night, bitch, you burned me." And her reply to him was, "You got what you paid for." My pops is just cracking up, just laughing like a motherfucker. He got tears in his eyes from laughing. So when he stopped laughing, I say, "Dad." "What? What, punk?" "What does that mean?" "Well, get the hell away from me." Damn. He won't tell me what it means. And I ain't find out the actual meaning to it. It's about 2, 3 years later. One of my cousins pull up and he's like, "Hey, ride with me somewhere." And this cousin has never asked me to get in the car with him or ride with him nowhere. So I'm like, nah, I'm skeptical. And if it had been my cousin Scooter, I'd have been asking, "Can I ride with you?" Or If he asks me that, I'm jumping in the car, no questions asked, because that's, you know, somebody cool and I like to be around and hang with. So this cousin is not somebody that ever asked me to get in the car with him and ride with him nowhere. So I'm like, no, I'm not going nowhere with you. And he tells me, man, I give you $10 to ride with me. So this is how I found out what that bitch you burnt me mean. So we get in the car and we go around the corner to this free clinic that's around the corner. And we in the clinic, I'm just chilling. I'm like, man, so you gonna pay me just to sit in this doctor's office with you? He like, yeah, it ain't gonna take too long. So we in there, and somebody come in there and they see us, somebody we know. And they say, hey, man, what you doing up in here? So-and-so? Oh man, I had to bring my little cousin here. This nigga caught his little first piece of pussy and the bitch burnt him. So now I'm like, oh, this motherfucker burning got something to do with sex. So my antennas go on, so I get to thinking back to the Gee and Woman of the Night situation, and I realized that this motherfucker had caught an STD from having raw, unprotected sex as a married man with a woman of the night. Could have possibly went home and burnt his wife. Could have got the woman of the night pregnant. Any old thing. Like, oh, that's some old nasty ass shit. So fast forward some years later, turns out Gee didn't really own the store. He was leasing it from one of his friends named Scotty. Scotty and his wife really owned the store. And they owned another store. So liquor license and everything was Scotty's name. He was leasing it to Gee. So now Scotty back, is back up under him and his wife management at this point. Rest in peace to Scotty and his wife. I can't remember her name offhand right now. They was really cool people. And everyone worked the store was pretty much from the neighborhood, even when Gee had it. So at this point, a guy in the neighborhood named Bobby Bell working there. Bobby Bell was a heavy drinker. And he was an older dude. You know what I'm saying? At this time, I'm probably 20. Bobby in his 40s somewhere, because he has a son that's a few years older than me. And Bobby's parents stayed right down the street from me, about 4 houses down. And they had to be older, because I never remember them working. So they just retired. They just hang out in the garage and chill all day. That was they you know what I'm saying, sun up to sundown, Sunday to Sunday, every day. And his mom was a drinker too, so she was an older lady and she's a drinker. And, her drinking, I guess, was a little bad. It got to the point that nobody at the store, because of him, wouldn't sell her alcohol. I don't know why she didn't just go somewhere else and get it, whatever, whatnot. But this particular day, I'm at the store, and one of the older players in the neighborhood, Skip, was in there, and Skip was in there. He's like, man, let me get a pint of he talking to Bobby now. Let me get a pint of hell, man, you know what the fuck your mama drank. So he take the money, Skip. He was like, man, how much was she supposed to give you for doing this? Da 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 da. So he give whatever to Skip that he's supposed to get. So he take the change and the pint out to his mom. She parked in the alley behind the stove. And he give her the pint and said, don't you ever do that shit again. That shit was funny as hell. Another story about the same store, about brownies. There was another dude worked there. I ain't gonna say his name. Fuck it, I'll go and say J Local Park Business working the store. And there was a burrito stand right across the street from the store. And he was at the store. He was working. He worked at the store. So he was at the across the street, the burrito stand. He was off this night or whatever. And he was over across the street getting something to eat, because there's a burrito stand. For $3, you can get you a big burrito and a canned soda for $3. Or you can get 4 tacos and a canned soda for $3. It's good food. For whatever reason, the cheese didn't melt. I don't give a fuck what you did to that cheese. That shit didn't melt. Anyway, it was some dudes from T-Flat asked him where he was from. J-Lo being the motherfucker he was, I'm burn Vintage Compton Crib, 700 block. Yeah. And they like brandished the pistol on them, like showed them they had a gun. This motherfucker go across the street, go behind the counter, get the stove 357. They leaving at this time. They trying to go up the street, and he barked their car up. He ain't hit them, but he showed picked 6 slugs out the revolver in that motherfucker. This stove was always something going on with this stove. You might go up there and see somebody get, beat up, robbed. You never know. You might meet your baby mom in there. There was always something going on with the stove. That's my little story for the day. Hope you enjoy it. If you do me a favor, give it the thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. I'm out.